Welcome back, learners, to our interesting course based on the theme Rudimentary Principles and Practices of Managerial Economics. I am Dr. Shantanu Saurabh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, DAV PG College, Banaras Hindu University. In the last lecture, we talked about the basic concepts of market and further types of market and divisions of market. In this module 10, lecture number 47, we'll be basically covering two topics. The topics will be factors affecting expansion of market and determinants of market structure. These two topics we'll be covering in this session. One by one, we'll be taking both the topics. Till now, we have talked about what is market, how the market operates, what is the concept of market. But now, delving deeper into market, now we'll be discussing the factors which affect for the expansion of market. As you are already aware that every businessman, every firm wants to expand in the market. So the expansion can be by two factors, the external factor and the internal factors, which means the factors which can affect the expansion of market can be external factors or the internal factors. External factors are those factors which are not in the control of the individual firms, and internal factors are those which are within the control of the respective firms. So one by one, we'll be taking all the parameters, all the points of external factors and internal factors. So now we'll be talking about the external factors. What do you understand by external factors? As I've already told, the external factors are not within the control limit of the firms or the individuals, but they play a very vital or important role for the firm to grow. As you are able to see on the screen, there are different external factors. The first can be transport and information facilities. The second can be peace and security, monetary and banking system, government policy and labor division. As you are able to see, all these 5 points are not in hand of the respective factors. Like for example, transport, you talk about, it is not in the hand of individuals. You talk about peace of security, monetary, government policy, labor division. These all are not in hands of individual factors. Now, one by one, we'll be discussing all these 5 factors in detail. The first point is transport and information facility. As you are already aware that transport and information are the center point for any firm. The goods are being transported from one place to another, and on the other hand, the information is the center point around which everything revolves. So the first point is transportation and information facilities. The transportation and information facilities which prevail have great impact on the market, which means all the activities of the you can say market are dependent on transport and information. The market gets broader if it has facilities such as railways, buses, post office, newspaper, internet, etc. Which means if the market has good facilities of transport, or you can say good facilities of newspaper, the market is able to function in a more better way, and the market is able to perform in a more efficient way. In the era of online and offline market, these in transport and information facilities play a very vital role. So the first external factor is related to transport and information facilities. The next is peace and security. The peace and security also affect the expansion of the market. If it prevails, it means if the peace prevails, there are more chances of expansion and development of the market, which means peace of the specific area and security in which the market prevails is a very important dimension. In the era of globalizing scenario, if there is no peace, there are less chances that the specific market will be growing in a positive way. On the contrary, if there exists peace or security for the marketers, for the you can say sellers, buyers, there are more chances that the market will grow in a better way. On the contrary, if there is instability or if there exists any kind of conflicts it impacts the market in a negative sense, which means if there is no peace, the people are not very happy, the environment is not very, you can say, adequate, the market will not be growing in a very positive way. Even in the international market, peace and security have relevance and impact. You must have heard about a concept of ease of doing business that can only be possible if there is peace, if there is security, people are happy, and there is no kind of hindrance in the business, then only the specific business or the enterprises may grow. So peace and security also plays a very relevant or a very important role for expansion of the market. The third is labor division. As you are already aware that labor is the most important portion or part on the basis of which the actual productivity or the actual work takes place. So the labor division is also a part of external factors. The production increases with the proper labor division and cost decreases. As a result, the market expands, which means if the proper labor division is done, automatically it will incur into the reduction of cost and the market will expand. Proper division of market is a very important parameter for any market of either international, either local or national to grow. So these are three most important factors of external factors. The first being transport, which is the most center one, most important one, which means on the basis of transport and information, everything revolves. The goods gets transmitted from one place to another, and information helps the firms to grow. On the second point, the peace and security is also a very relevant point. If there is no peace and security, no market will expand, no business will expand. And third, labor division is also a very important parameter for any firm or market to grow. So these are three external factors we have discussed. Now the fourth factor, which is another very important point, which is related to monetary and banking system. As you are already aware that banking system is the backbone for any economy, any business, any market, you can say. If the banking and monetary system are stable and sound, it contributes in a positive way towards the development of the market, which means all the routine business of firms are kind of dependent on banking and monetary systems. So that needs to be in a positive way, in a good way, so that the firms as well as the market can expand in a positive way. The firms can get easy loans, the firms can do different type of activities related to monetary and banking activities. So with strong and adequate monetary and banking system, proper credit and other facilities can be provided to market players. As you are already aware that credit is the most important thing required in the current business scenario, and that can be prevailed through monetary or the banking system. So if the banking system is working adequately, is working properly, easy credit can be availed, the easy banking system can be availed, and the whole market as well as the different enterprises can grow and do well in their respective fields. The next is government policy. The government policy also plays a very important role on the expansion of the market. If the government provides assistance, the market will move in a positive direction and expand, which means if the government is helpful, if the government is acting as a tool of help, the market will grow, the firms will grow in a positive way. On the contrary, if the government acts as in a restricted trade policy, it might hinder the expansion of the market. So according to the attitude of the government, the market expands or contracts. The government policies play a very important or pertinent role for the growth of the respective market. So in this external factors, we have talked about 5 points. The first one being transport and information facility. I have already discussed peace and security, labor division. Then I talked about two most important factors, that is related to monetary and banking system, and then I talked about the government policies. These are 5, you can say, external factors which directly have an impact on the expansion or contraction of the market. Moving further, now we'll be discussing those factors which are internal in nature, internal factors. The four basic, there are other factors also, but these are four basic factors which we are going to discuss in the presentation. The first being demand of the commodity, the second being supply of the commodity, durability of the commodity, and quality to identify. So one by one we'll be taking all these 4 points. The internal factors, the demand of the commodity. The demand for the commodity is the most essential element for expansion. If the commodity has more demand, market for it will expand, which means the demand is the most important parameter for any market to grow. If there is demand for any specific product, the market for that specific product will grow. For example, the demand for a product such as gold, silver, diamond, white, etc. is high and results into expansion of market for these products, which means the demand for the product directly has an impact on the expansion of the market. The more the demand, there are more chances that the specific market will be growing in a positive way. So the first aspect we have talked about is related to demand. The second is supply of the commodity. If the supply can be varied with the change in demand, the market for the commodity will expand, which means if the supply can be changed according to the demand of that specific commodity, automatically the market will grow. On the other hand, if it is not able to adjust its supply according to the demand, the market may contract. This is very important thing to understand. It is not necessary only to expand your, you can say, supply. You need to manage your supply according to the demand existing in the market. If there is more demand in the market, you need to increase your supply in the respective ratio. On the contrary, if there is less demand in the market, you need to decrease your supply in the respective ratio. If that happens in a proper manner, the market will expand. And on the contrary, if it does not happen in a positive manner, there are chances that the market will, you can say, contract. So according to the specific need of the demand, you need to manage your supply for the market. Then only the market will be in a position to expand. So the first two important factors of internal points are demand of the commodity and supply of the commodity. The third one being durability. The market for durable goods is broad and market for perishable goods is comparatively narrow in nature. Durable goods are those goods which exist for a longer duration. On the other hand, perishable goods are those goods which are not in a good position after a period of time. So the market for durable goods is broad in nature and the market for perishable goods is comparatively narrow in nature. As you are aware that market for diamond, gold and silver is broad, and on the other hand, for perishable products such as vegetables, fruits, etc., the market is narrow. So durability also plays a very relevant or a very important role in the expansion of the market. So the fourth point, the quality of identity. The product which are properly known have wide market, and on the other hand, product which are not very much known have narrow market, which means your identity in the market also plays a very relevant role. If your product is very well known in the market, your market will be broader. On the contrary, if your product is not very well known, you will be having a narrower market. So these are four important points of internal factors. Demand for the specific commodity. If the demand is more, that the market will expand. On the contrary, if the demand is less, the market will contract. On the other hand, the supply of the commodity. The supply of the commodity will move in the ratio as per the demand of the commodity. If the demand is increasing, you need to increase your supply. On the other hand, if the demand is decreasing, you need to decrease your supply. And if you are able to function in this manner, automatically the market will expand. The third one being durability. Durability also plays a very relevant role. In the case of durable goods, the market is broader. On the other hand, in case of perishable goods, the market is narrower, and your identity of the company also plays a very relevant role. If your brand, if your company, if the market is well known, then it will be having a wide market. On the other hand, if the product, if the brand is not very well known, it will be having a smaller or a narrower market. So till now we have talked about external factor. Now we have discussed points related to internal factors. Moving further, now we'll be talking about determinants of market structure. As you're able to see on the screen, these are 7 determinants of market structure. There are other determinants also, but we have considered these 7 important determinants, and one by one we'll be taking up all these 7 determinants. The 7 determinants are price determination, product differentiation, selling cost, number of firms, entry and exit of firms, economies of scale, and non-price competition. One by one, we'll be taking all these 7 points with you. The first being the determinants of market structure. Price discrimination. As you are already aware that price is one of the most important thing which is considered in the market. So under monopoly market, monopolists can sell their product at different prices to different customer due to existence of difference in the elasticity of demand in different market, which means there can be case of price discrimination. For the same product, there can be different prices for different consumers or customers. So that is a very important determinant. So we can say that price discrimination is the act of charging different prices from different customer for the same commodity. For example, if I am selling this marker for 5 rupees to Mr. X and for 10 rupees to Mr. Y, this is a case of price discrimination, as the marker is the same, but I am charging different prices from different customer or consumer. The monopolists do price discrimination so as to earn maximum profit. Now this is very important. Why we do such price discrimination? The objective behind this is to earn maximum profit. This discrimination of price can be on 3 bases: personal price discrimination, geographical price discrimination, and trade discrimination. Personal price discrimination means price discrimination on the basis of personal individuals. Geographical price determination means on the basis of geographical areas, and third being trade discrimination means on the basis of trade. So first important determinant of market structure is price discrimination, in which different prices are charged from different customers in the, you can say, monopoly market, in the monopolist system, and the objective behind this is to earn maximum profit, and it can be of 3 bases. The first one being personal price discrimination, geographical price determination, and trade discrimination. Second point, the product differentiation. It is one of the most important characteristic of monopolistic market, where firms are selling the differentiated product which are close substitute of each other, which means products are not homogeneous in nature, but they are differentiated on the basis of color, packaging, labeling, brand, quality, shape, etc. Which means the characteristics of the product, the differences in the product is also a very important point, a very important determinant, where the firms are selling differentiated products which are kind of close substitute to each other, and the products are differentiated on different n number of kind of bases, as you can say. Like example we have taken on the basis of color, packaging, labeling, brand, quality, shape, etc. So product differentiation also is a very important determinant in the market. This third one being selling cost. The selling cost, as you are already aware, plays a very important or key role in monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Under these market forms, the firms have to compete to promote their sales by spending on advertisement and publicity, which means here the selling cost also plays a very important role, or you can say is a very important determinant of the market. As you are already aware that the 21st century is full of competition, and to exist in this competition you need to bear the selling cost. The selling cost can be on the advertisement, as we have already discussed here, or on the publicity. Selling cost is a broader concept in comparison to the advertisement. Advertisement is a part of, you can say, selling cost, and selling cost is a more broader concept. Selling cost are those concepts which are incurred by the producer so as to create the demand. This is the crux of all, that selling cost is for those costs which are involved or incurred for the producer to create the demand for the specific product in the market. For example, if I want to sell a pen, and if I am making 2 rupees selling cost, the objective behind the selling cost is to create the demand for that specific pen in the market. So in this slide we have talked about product differentiation and selling cost, both directly very important determinant of the market. Now, non-price competition. It means firms in the market will not compete with each other on the basis of the price of the commodity. Rather, they will compete on various other bases such as guarantee and warranty of the product, gifts, schemes, discounts, after sale services, exchange of product, etc. Which means price is not the only determinant which directly impacts the you can say the product or the market. There are other factors also which have a very relevant role. For example, the guarantee and the warranty your product is providing, the gift you are providing to your customers, the number of schemes your company is offering, the discounts your specific product is providing, the after sale services your product is providing, the exchange of product. For example, if the product is not adequate, you are ready to exchange the product if you are providing that service. So these factors play a very relevant role for the market to grow, or is a very important determinant for the market. It means firms in the market try to win over customers not only on the basis on the price of the product, which means the company not only focuses, or the respective organization not only focuses on the price, but here the company or the firm is focusing on the non-price factors which we have discussed. Non-price competition is most popular tool in present marketing technique, as it eliminates unnecessary wastage of the resources, which means in the 21st century, if you are not focusing on other factors other than price, you will be out of the market. The other factors in current scenario are playing a very important role, and at the end of the day, these are all marketing strategies which help the consumer or the customer to get satisfied with your product, and it also eliminates the unnecessary wastage of the resources. The next point being number of firms. The number of firms existing in the market also play a very relevant or important role. The market structures are influenced by the number of firms present in the market. They range from large number of sellers, as you are already aware in perfect competition. In the case of perfect competition, the number of sellers are large, to a single seller in monopoly, as you are already aware that in monopoly there is only one single seller, to 2 sellers in duopoly. In duopoly case there are only 2 sellers, few sellers in oligopoly, as we have already discussed, and fairly large number of sellers in monopolistic competition. So the major determinant, another major determinant of, you can say, market is number of firms which are existing in the market. If the number of firms are more, there are more chances that the firm will grow, but not a mandatory one. It depends on the concept of the products which are existing in the market. If those products are fruitful, there are more certain chances that the market will grow. As we have already discussed, in case of perfect competition, there are large number of sellers. In monopoly, there is only one seller. There are 2 sellers in duopoly, and there are few sellers in the case of oligopoly, and there are comparatively large number of sellers in monopolistic competition. Now we'll be talking about entry and exit of firm. The entry and exit of the firm from the market are important determinants of the nature of the market in the long run. There is no barrier for entry and exit for firm in long run under perfect competition, as we have already discussed, and monopolistic competition. On the other hand, there is strict barrier or restriction for new firms under monopoly market. As you are already aware that in monopoly there is only one firm, so there is strict barrier for new entrants or the exit for the other players. In oligopoly market, there is restricted barrier for firm in the long run. So the entry and exit also plays a very relevant role in the market. In the long run, as we have discussed, that in the long run under perfect competition and monopolistic competition, there is no restriction. On the other hand, it is a very strict barrier in the case of monopoly market, and in oligopoly market, there is restricted barrier in the firm in the long run. Moving to the next point, that is economies of scale. Those firms which achieve larger economies of scale in the production grow more in comparison to the other firms, or the market also grows as compared to the other markets. Economies of scale play a very relevant or important role in reducing the cost of production and thereby increasing the profit margin of the firm, which means if the economies of scale are attained, automatically the cost of production will reduce, and if the cost will reduce, the profit will go up for the respective, you can say, products, and the market will be reacting in a positive way. So economies of scale also play a very relevant role. So in this slide we have talked about entry and exit of the respective firms, we have talked about different markets, and then we talked about economies of scale. So that's all for this presentation. Now I'll be just providing you a gist whatever we have discussed. We have covered these two important points: factors affecting expansion of market and determinants of market structure. We have covered these 2 points. We have talked about external factors as well as internal factors we have covered. We have talked about all these 5 factors: transport and information facilities, peace and security, monetary and banking system we have talked about, government policy and labor division. These external factors are not in control of the respective firms or the market. For example, the transport facilities, the peace and security, the labor division, the monetary system or the banking system or the government policy is not in the control of the respective firm. That is why it is termed as external factors. And then we have talked about the internal factors. The internal factors we have talked about the demand of the commodity, supply of the commodity, durability and quality to identify. We have talked about these 4 points. The demand, as the demand for the specific product increases, the market also expands, and if the demand decreases, the market contracts. On the other hand, according to the demand, the supply needs to behave in that way. For example, if there is increase in the demand, the supply also needs to be increased. On the other hand, if there is decrease in the demand, the supply also needs to be decreased. The durability of the respective product is also plays a very relevant role. If you are talking about the durable goods, the market is broad. If you are talking about the perishable goods, the market is narrower in nature. And then the quality to identify. If your product is well known, it will be having a wider market. On the other hand, if your product is not very well known, it will be having a narrower market. So we have discussed about internal as well as external factors. Now we have discussed about the determinants of market structure: price discrimination, price differentiation, selling cost, number of firms, entry and exit of firm, economies of scale, and non-price discrimination, non-price competition. First we discussed about price discrimination, in which we talked about how different prices are being charged from different customers, and the objective here being to earn maximum profit, and the discrimination can be of 3 bases: personal price discrimination, geographical price discrimination, and trade discrimination. We have talked about all this. Then we talked about product differentiation. which is a characteristic of monopolistic competition. And here we talked about where the firms are selling the differentiated products, which are kind of close substitutes to each other, but they are differentiated on the basis of what? Color, packaging, labeling, brand, quality, shape, or any other factor. So that concludes about differentiation of the product. Then we talked about the selling cost, how selling cost plays a very relevant role. And then we also talked about that selling cost are those costs which are incurred by producers so as to create the demand for any specific product in the market. Then we talked about the non-price competition, which means considering other factors other than price. Those factors can be the guarantee and the warranty, the product, guarantee and warranty of the product, the gift, the schemes the product is providing, the discount, and the after-sale services. These are all, you can say, components of marketing, in which we talked about factors other than price also play a very relevant role. And then finally we talked about the number of firms. If in the case of perfect competition, there are a large number of firms. In the case of monopoly, there is single seller. In the case of duopoly, there are only two sellers. In the case of oligopoly, there are few sellers. And in the case of monopolistic competition, there are fairly large number of sellers. So the number of seller is also a determinant for the market. We have already talked about this. Then finally, we talked about the entry and exit of the firm. The entry and exit in the perfect competition we talked about, and monopolistic competition we talked about. There is free entry and exit in these two cases. On the other hand, entry and exit is a barrier in the case of monopoly market. And finally, we talked about the oligopoly market, that there is restricted barrier in the oligopoly market in the long run. And last point we discussed about was economies of scale. These firms which achieve large economies of scale grow more competitively into the comparison to those firms who are not able to achieve the economies of scale. And as we achieve the economies of scale, as we have already discussed, the cost reduces, and if the cost reduces, the profit of the respective firm will increase, and the market as well as the respective product will grow in a positive way. So that's all from my end for this presentation. I have tried to talk about different parameters again related to market and determinants related to market. I hope you must be able to understand it and accordingly plan for your product or your services in the market. It will be for help for the, you can say, businessmen, for the academicians and all the stakeholders. Thank you, learners, for patiently listening to our session. Hope to see you in the upcoming sessions. Thank you.